important for the coming few years. And for that matter, we see the consultation underway, the meetings, the exchange of ideas, the exploration that we are jointly doing is going to be very important this time.
How would you assess bilateral relations between our countries? Maybe in which spheres is it developing most rapidly?
It's an integrated approach as a matter of principle. We don't have one particular sector or industry. We start with infrastructure, for example. Infrastructure will include roads, railways, ropeways, ports, airports. That's critical, and that definitely will have its impact on other sectoral programs. We have energy, we have water management issues, we have mining, we have the fishing industry, we have agriculture, we have transportation and communications, and social services, health and education. It's an integrated approach. We're discussing details of concrete programs on all these sectors I mentioned, and then bring them together to one complete whole in an integrated manner, identify areas of priority, and then you have a line of priorities on all these sectors and industries, and have a schedule and a time frame, which definitely takes stock of resource mobilization is another important thing. We have to jointly mobilize resources, material, equipment, machinery, but above anything else, human resource would be very critical. So it's an inclusive and comprehensive arrangement that we are undergoing. And the fact that already we had 3 consultation sessions. Last meeting with the President was one of the most fruitful meetings and discussions we had. It's not a matter of PR. We are talking seriously about this project and taking it in a context. What is the global context? Where are we now? Where are we facing challenge globally? What about regional and continental issues? How do we relate our bilateral programs and integrate them into this global and regional setting? It's quite interesting, and I say it may take time to explain what exactly is going on, but hopefully future meetings and future discussions will enable us to detail plans on the projects that are on the table.
Eritrea, your country, was one of those that did not support the UN decision to blame Russia for its position on Ukraine. How would you explain your position, the position of your country?
I say this is the problem of Russia. Russia should have gone a long time ago, because the war was declared at the end of the Cold War. This war on Russia was declared at the end of the Cold War. Why? It's hegemonistic on the part of NATO, led by Washington. They came up with an idea of containing Russia. Containing Russia means not allowing Russia to progress in technology, agriculture, industry, a number of areas. The containment strategy designed about 30 years ago was a disaster. It was a declaration of war against Russia. Today people talk about the Ukraine-Russia. This is not Ukraine-Russia at all. It's NATO led by Washington that declared war against Russia 30 years ago because they felt Russia was their competitor. Russia was their challenge. So they have to contain Russia, weaken Russia, sabotage Russia's development in every area, very important area. So we say now we will not accept that any reason, any declaration of war again, or even condemnation of Russian action here and there. Russia has the right to defend itself. Russia is not defending itself for Russia's sake at all. Russia is defending itself against a hegemonistic strategy or ideology. This hegemonistic ideology is not exclusive for Russia. The same containment strategy and policy is declared against China, Taiwan, the Taiwan Strait, this and that, Hong Kong, and a number of areas. Even small nations like Eritrea are sanctioned because they are not bowing to this hegemonistic ideology. Where are we now? We are in a situation where one group of hegemonistic forces, NATO led by Washington, has declared war against humanity. And humanity has the right to defend itself. Above anything else, Russia has the right to defend itself. And when people came up with this idea, we were not at all with the idea, we're not supporting hegemony, we are not supporting containment, we are not with those who are trying to create a unipolar world. We have not been there for the last 30 years. So what's new now? What's new now? And what's new now for us is we don't accept any hegemonistic strategy or declaration that condemns Russia or any other party that does not get along with this idea. So it's very clear now, and we're saying Russia should have taken the appropriate steps early on. Russia would have been able to educate the world and also mobilize support to take this situation into a better relationship amongst nations, peoples, respect of rule of law, stop interference, stop demonizing, stop sabotaging, stop containing. That's very simple. And we say we are not supporting or not supporting. It's not a matter of not supporting a decision or even abstaining or not abstaining. This is a fight. This is a global challenge. And everybody, every world, every nation, every people will have to come in solidarity to fight this dominating ideology and go forward to a new world order. The new world order can only come as a result of global solidarity. It's very simple. For us, it's a matter of solidarity for an idea, for a cause, which will have to be supported by everybody else.
You really talked a lot about this new emerging world order during your visit to Moscow, and obviously the West, it's the fight of the West against this new emerging world order. What is this new emerging world order for you, and which role will Russia and Africa as well play in this new emerging world order?
We need to get out of this, I call it the law of the jungle. This is the law of the jungle. And no one is happy with this state of affairs. This attempt of unipolarization, using every weapon to intimidate, to sabotage, and even contain everybody, is not acceptable by anyone, by any standard. So our new order will have to be based on the respect of rule of law, the respect of sovereignty, non-interference, cooperation, complementarity, and then making it safer for humanity to progress. This ideology will have to be fought. It has to become history, and that can only be done by a solidarity amongst peoples, and what Russia can do and what other nations can do, what China can do, and in solidarity with all those who've been marginalized, Africa, Asia, Latin America, Europe, will have to come together and not only face this challenge, but work together to create a new environment different to what we see now. Unipolar, domination, containment, sabotage, sanctions. We need to get out of this cycle. This cycle is not at all acceptable by humanity.
And now a lot of experts in business circles as well are discussing the so-called de-dollarization, the getting rid of dollar in bilateral trade. So first of all, what, as for you, is the reason behind this process, and can our two countries, Russia and Eritrea, also move to national currencies in bilateral trade?
This is a very natural partnership. It's a natural partnership based on shared values, based on shared ideas and strategies for the future. This kind of relationship is exemplary, it's a model. Probably next time we'll have a broader scope. We say our bilateral relationship is critical, but we have to look at it from a broader scope. The regional context is very important. The continental concept is very important. The global setting is, again, very important. So our bilateral partnership has its dimensions: regional, continental, global. And definitely the collapse of this hegemonistic unipolar world order is behind us. At least now we are in the transition. This is a transition phase. This phase will have to be overcome, and we'll have to prepare the ground for the future relationships of nations. And Russian Federation working with Eritrea, Russian Federation working with Africa, with a number of other regions in the world, is a very natural need for humanity. Humanity will have to get out of this cycle and move forward to creating a new environment, a new world order.
Do you think that Africa will play a bigger, more important role in this new world order?
Africa is the most marginalized continent, and Africa has more of interest than anybody else. Africa should be more interested, and Africa is more interested now because of the failures and because of the marginalization, its exploitation, looting, destroying communities, creating crisis here and crisis there, and making Africa a recipient of aid when 60% of global endowments are in the continent. Why should Africa remain marginalized? And Africa have more interest than anybody else to join in this solidarity for creating a new world order.
Does the absence of colonial